Hey guys, Kathy Richards, RD, hopping on. So it is lovely. It's fall. It's beautiful actually outside where I am today, but it's a bit windy. So I decided to do my live inside. But I'm sad because I want to do them outside as long as I can. We're in the fall season and there is so much abundance. I'm just going to check to make sure this is working around us, with the trees, the leaves, all that great stuff. So, yeah, I just really love to sit and take in all that wonderful nature before it gets cold and we all kind of stay inside. Anyways, enough about that. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kathy Richards. I'm a registered dietitian, and I've been helping busy people improve their health and wellness for the last 18 plus years. And that can mean anything from getting more energy, losing weight, feeling better, improving health conditions, boosting their nutrients. So many ways that we can improve our health by improving our nutrition. Okay, so I'm just checking to make sure everything's good. I can see that I've got it in the group. So I'll get started, and if you have any questions, let me know. If you're joining me live, please type live in the comments, and if you're catching the replay, type replay. I'd like to know who's able to make it live, trying to figure out a time that works great for you guys. So any feedback that you guys have for me is greatly appreciated. So yeah, it's beautiful. It's the fall, and we have all this beautiful weather and all the abundance of Thanksgiving. In Canada, we're celebrating Thanksgiving this weekend, so I'm excited to have some time at the cottage with some family that are traveling to spend that time with us. But with October, I know if you're in business, you might be thinking like last quarter, time to get things going. But October also brings with it, for most of us, cold and flu season. Okay, and that runs from October till April. So it would be horrible to have our immunity at a place where we're not able to show up as much as we want in our business and show up how we want. So that's why I wanted to hop on today and do this live training with you guys. And it's exclusive. It's just in this group that I'm doing it. But there will be a sheet that I'm making to go with it. So you'll see that pop up in the next few days, and I'll share that within the group just to give you guys a breakdown of this. So if you don't want to write everything down or you missed something, don't worry, because you can go back and watch it in the group. But also I'm going to give you guys kind of like that point-by-point handout to go with it as well. All right, so I said, 5 ways to boost your immunity, but I can't leave you guys without all the tips and tricks. So there's actually about 10 different ways that we can boost our immunity. So I'm going to go over those today. And of course, I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to go over, them relatively simply to make it easier, and also to keep us, around 30 minutes max, okay? Because I know you guys don't have a lot of time to watch trainings, so I want to give you the information in a way that's easy for you. So if you do hop on, say hi, and thanks for joining. All right, so number one thing is personal hygiene. I think most of us know that, hand washing and cleaning surfaces and doorknobs and things in this season is super important. And you can use different products to do that. A lot of people are going to essential oils, and essential oils themselves can help with that personal hygiene and help boost your immunity as well. So personal hygiene is number one. Sleep. So if you watch any of my lives, you're going to be like, oh, there she goes, sleep. I think sleep is the most important determinant of health. Okay, and the way we live and the way we're always trying to, get that last thing in, get that last training done before we go to sleep, read that last thing, write that last post. I think sleep is where a lot of us are sometimes missing the boat, and myself included. I'm not going to say I'm perfect, but sleep deprivation, it disrupts the immune function, and that increases levels of protein within your body that increase that inflammation, okay? And that's going to decrease your immunity. So adults on average 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and kids need on average 9 to 10 hours, okay? So after that personal hygiene piece, hand washing and things, sleep is going to be one of the big things to focus on. The other thing would be exercise. Okay, so we've got personal hygiene, sleep, exercise. So studies show that active people get less colds. Okay, so it makes sense because their immunity is going to be better through that activity piece. They're going to reduce their stress because we know stress also increases our risk for getting sick and decreases our immunity. So exercise doesn't have to be anything vigorous. If you go too vigorous, it actually increases those stress hormones. But the studies show about 30 to 60 minutes of some moderate activity a day. So moderate activity, it could be walking. It could be doing yoga. It could be doing that 15-minute workout with some extra walking, that you can do at home when the kids are napping. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but that's what's going to help keep your immunity up. The exercise, and people that exercise get less colds. If you get a cold, the last thing you want to do is exercise. So it's kind of like putting that cart before the horse. You've got to get that exercise in before you can avoid getting the cold. But it doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be a lot of exercise, but definitely exercise is going to help boost that immunity. Okay, so you've got personal hygiene, sleep is a big thing, and then you've got the exercise piece. Sorry, I'm just checking to make sure that my video is working. So if you're joining me live, say hello. So those three things aren't really related to nutrition, but immunity boosting isn't just about nutrition, but we know that nutrition plays a super important role, right? So adequate protein intake is going to make a big difference in your immunity. And if you guys have watched any of my other trainings, especially Energized Eating, hi Ruth, thanks for saying hi. If you have watched the Energized Eating one, or I'm trying to remember what one I did last week, I'm always talking about getting adequate protein and then plenty of fruits and vegetables. That way you're going to up your nutrient intake, and that's going to help keep your immunity up. Specifically, when we look at nutrients or vitamins and minerals in particular, vitamin C is going to be key. So vitamin C, there's actually little evidence that it prevents cold and flu in average folks. But if someone's under extreme stress because of physical stress because of marathon running, it does seem to reduce their risk of getting a cold by about half. It does seem to lessen your cold symptoms though, so it might not help you not get a cold, but it will definitely lessen those symptoms of cold. And the number that you want to take is 200 milligrams a day, divided doses. So 2,000 milligrams a day, divided doses. So that would be like 500, 500, 500, 500. So divided up, the body utilizes different vitamins and minerals when they're spaced differently to give us the benefits and to lessen the symptoms of the cold. If you can spread that vitamin C out, that's going to help. So it seems to be most effective when it's divided. If you can't remember to take it 4 times a day and you take 2,000 milligrams once a day, you're still going to get some benefit from that vitamin C. Now, vitamin C is water soluble. So if you take higher doses, some people will have a response with their bowels where they get looser bowel movements. So just keep an eye out for that. If that's the only change that you've made, then you might need to back up a bit on your vitamin C intake. The other thing when we think about vitamin C is anyone that has a history of getting kidney stones that contain oxalate, you would not want to, bump up your vitamin C. You could take 100 milligrams a day, but you would not want to go close to that 2,000 milligrams because it's going to increase your risk of getting more kidney stones. And I've never had one, but I hear that they are quite painful. Okay, so you've got personal hygiene, we've got sleep, we've got exercise in that 30 to 60 minute range on a regular basis, daily if you can. Then we've got basic overall healthy intake, adequate protein, vitamin C can help reduce those symptoms of cold. And then we've got vitamin D. Okay, so vitamin D enhances the body's immune system as well. There's a lot of research around vitamin D and cancer prevention, heart health, bone health. We've known for years that it's a big piece of that puzzle. But for the immune system, vitamin D plays a big role as well. So depending where you live, if you live in North America and you live above Atlanta, you should supplement vitamin D year round because we're so far from the equator that we can't get enough vitamin D. And when we look at our food supply and we do our laboratory testing, 90% of people are deficient for vitamin D, especially because we're working inside under, false lighting. We're wearing, layers of clothes now because sometimes we don't want to have access to the sun as much to protect our skin. So we're not giving our body the chance to produce as much vitamin D. So most adults should supplement 2,000 to 3,000 international units per day. And I usually suggest to my clients, depending where they live, but most of my Canadian clients, I would suggest year-round that you keep that dose up to get your vitamin D levels up and keep them up. And then for kids, I give my kids 1,000 international units per day. So you can look at the, Health Canada's guidelines are 400, but I opt to go a bit higher to know I've given them a bit of extra coverage, and it's far below that upper tolerable limit. Okay, so we've got quite a few things that we can do to boost the immunity, right? So you've got vitamin C, vitamin D, that overall general nutrition. We've got personal hygiene, exercise, and sleep. Okay, so far we've got 5 key things that we can do. Another nutrient that we can increase is a mineral called zinc. Okay, and it's vital to a healthy immune system. So zinc in food, I'll give you the food sources. It comes from oysters, seafood, red meat, poultry, yogurt, wheat bran, wheat germ, whole grains. So if those are things that you're not including in your diet, you may want to take a supplement. Just a regular, like 1 zinc supplement a day will give you enough zinc. There's also good research to show that zinc lozenges, so if you have a cold and they have those zinc lozenges now that you can take when you have a cold, it actually can decrease the duration of cold symptoms, so they do work. Okay, so that's worth investing in those lozenges if you want to get rid of your cold a bit faster. Okay, so we've got vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc. Echinacea is a herb that you can take. It also enhances the body's production of white blood cells, and that helps us fight infection. So if you get that cold, you can take echinacea then. Okay, it's best if it comes with purple coneflower in it. That's what the research is showing. And you want to take that echinacea until the symptoms have been relieved. Okay, so until you're feeling better. And then after that, take it 2 to 3 times a day for about a week to kind of make sure that you've got those white blood cells working for you so you can continue to be well. Okay, so we've got vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc. Echinacea is also beneficial. Another thing that you can look at is ginseng. So there's a product in Canada, and I'm sure it's available in other countries, and it's a special extract of North American ginseng, and it's called Cold FX. So the word cold -FX, and it's actually been proven that it can help prevent cold and flu if people take it every day. It reduces your risk of getting a cold by up to 26%, so it's quite effective. The studies have only been done for that in adults, so it hasn't been tested in children and the elderly. So Cold FX might not be a great supplement to recommend across the board for your family. The other thing with Cold FX is quite expensive. So I worked in an executive kind of health clinic, probably 10 years ago now. So Cold FX has been around 10, 15 years. And the medical director at that clinic was really a big fan of Cold FX. She looked at the research. She saw the benefit. In that clinic, our focus was prevention. So it was a fantastic approach. I really enjoyed working there because you're trying to help people do things to prevent getting sick and also dealing with some of their illnesses. But it was really more focused on keeping people healthy as they age, which should be the focus, I think. But it worked out to be, I think it was like over $1, maybe over $2 a day to take the Cold FX. So that might not always be feasible for everyone to add that in. But if you have access to Cold FX, definitely there's research to show that it helps, and it's that ginseng, that North American extract of it. Okay, so you've got vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, you've got echinacea, you've got ginseng. So we've got 5 different nutrition things we can do. We can also add in probiotics. Okay, so a daily supplement containing lactobacilli and bifidobacteria. Those are the ones that you want because it decreases the severity and duration of colds and flu, and the research supports that. So that's what you would get in a capsule. So it's helpful, especially there was a study in pediatrics when they looked at kids, and they gave it to kids aged 3 to 5, and they had less fever, less coughs, less antibiotic use, less missed days of school as well. Okay, so probiotics definitely benefit to take them in the wintertime. I would recommend year round, but in the wintertime, definitely an added benefit, let's say. So you want to look for a capsule that has 1 billion to 10 billion live cells per capsule. And you want to make sure it has that lactobacilli and bifidobacteria in it. And I'll put those, I'll type those words in the comment because... Good info on vitamin C. Okay, yeah, Ruth, I'm glad that you found that helpful. Sometimes I forget to say that. So I'm just going to add in the comments for the probiotics, before I forget, you want lactobacilli and the bifidobacteria. And you want 1 billion to 10 billion live cells per capsule. And there's tons of different products out there, so you know, you might have a brand that you really resonate with or that you're loyal to, and that's fine. So just take a look. Those are the ones that are going to help specifically for cold. There's a whole manual for probiotics in Canada and what the different strains of probiotics do to help with different illnesses. So definitely there's lots of probiotics in the market, but they're not all treating the same thing. So these are specifically studied to look at reducing that duration of cold and flu. Okay, so you've got vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, echinacea, ginseng, probiotics, and then essential oils would be the last piece that I would say, and they're not nutrition related. Some of them are food grade, so you can ingest them. But there's a lot of research on different essential oils that help boost your immunity. I'm not going to go into, you know, any depth about essential oils because I'm not an aromatherapist. If you want to use them, I would suggest there's a group about safe use of essential oils. I'll take a look in my groups and pop that in the comments as well. I use essential oils. I have to admit, I used to use them a lot more, and then as my kids got a bit older, and I'll probably go back to it this year, I started having issues with my I guess my 3-year-old at the time, licking the roller balls. You know, we used to put on the soles of their feet at bed. And we used to do diffusers in the room as well. So essential oils, there is benefit, they do work. They're not all safe for kids. They're not all safe for dogs. If you want to learn about them, you know, I have an essential oil evidence-based guide that I look at. I would suggest joining a group where it's an aromatherapist that runs a group. It's so hard with essential oils. You know, it's all these reps that are trying to, they have the best interest in heart and they really want to help you utilize the products to the best of your ability, but sometimes it becomes a bit of a safety concern. So I've backed off on those. This year I'm probably going to up the essential oils again because my kids are a bit older and I think that they're not going to lick the roller balls as much. I did call poison control like 3 times in 2 weeks for different things and I was like, maybe they're tracking my calls. So I backed off on that. But if you guys use essential oils, let me know what ones you use. Pop that in the comments because I'd love to know. I'm kind of doing a little review, and then there's also a couple of apps that give you good info on essential oils as well. Okay, so that's it. So that was 20 minutes and 10 different ways we can boost our immunity. So personal hygiene is number 1. Then you've got to look at sleep. So remember, sleep, I would say, is the most important determinant of health. So 7 to 9 hours is ideal. For kids, it's about 9 to 10 hours, ideally, for kids and teenagers, but maybe your kids need a bit more. Exercise, 30 to 60 minutes a day to keep that immunity up. Then you've got, balanced nutrition, adequate protein, adequate fruits and vegetables. And if you don't know what that means, you can ask me, comment below. I'd love to expand on that a bit. And then you've got, the specific vitamins and minerals. So vitamin C, vitamin D, you've got zinc. Then you've got some herbal things, echinacea and ginseng, or the Cold FX product. Then you've got probiotics, and again, it's only certain strains that are going to be helping for certain conditions. So that's where you want to make sure it's got the lactobacilli and the bifidobacteria in that strain to help with the symptoms of your cold. And then you've got essential oils. So there's so many ways to keep our immunity up, and that's going to help us stay energized, show up consistently, and get that profit in our business. Because that's really the focus, and that's my focus now. I get that busy mamapreneur, the energy to work efficiently, boost your productivity, and ultimately skyrocket your profits. And that's where immunity comes in as well. So I hope you guys found this useful. I do still have a few spots, and we're in October, so it's a great time if you're ready to step up and put the focus back on yourself and take care of yourself. I'd love to help you out. I've got the Energize VIP Mamapreneur program, and what that is that's a 3-month one-on-one program. So you're going to get support from me, a dietitian with over 18 years of experience, working with lots of different people. Now my focus is on that mamapreneur that's busy, because that's me. I have young kids, I'm working a full-time job, and I'm running a business. And I have other things to do, so I know how hard it is to fit everything in. So my goal with my one-on-one is to give simple, super strategies that are able to be implemented on a regular basis. So that program, it runs over 90 days. We start off with a 60-minute Kickstarter call, and in that call, it's a really holistic approach. So I'm looking at your sleep, I'm looking at your nutrition, I'm looking at your stress, I'm looking at your social situation, I'm looking at your relationships. We'll talk about any symptoms and physically how you're feeling. Obviously, we'll look at any supplements or medications that you're on. We'll do a bit of a self-awareness review using a validated tool that I have that we can repeat throughout the process, just to really get a good idea of where you are in your health journey. And based on that Kickstarter call, then we follow up the following week with a 30-minute breakthrough call. And that breakthrough call is where we're going to set up that individualized plan to cater to you and your lifestyle and wherever you are. If you have family, of course, it's going to consider that. It's going to consider the whole person, not just one person in the family. In that first breakthrough call, we'll also come up with some tools for you to keep in your back pocket for any times when you feel like there's a roadblock or a saboteur coming up. If you have a special event or a birthday or a family member, something that has presented as a roadblock before, then we can kind of plan ahead for strategies to help you, think ahead in those situations. And then after that, we meet every week for 30 minutes for breakthrough calls, and those could be around lots of different things. Sometimes, I'll spend a whole breakthrough call with a client talking about mindset. And it could be, just general strategies to help improve their mindset. We might spend a whole session on stress management. That might be a really big piece of the puzzle to help you, lose that last 10 pounds or feel better overall. So stress management, sleep hygiene, sometimes that can take up a whole breakthrough session. And sometimes we'll just touch on these things and we'll build on a few things in a session. Nutrient boosting, to give you the best nutrient intake that you can get. Maybe there's some deficiencies there, so we'll look at that. Symptom improvement. I do a lot of gut health with people, so if there's symptoms that are showing up, we can look at that. We can do meal planning. There's so many different things we can do in the breakthrough sessions. And that's why I want to meet with you every week to give you that one-on-one support and keep you moving through the process. The program is 90 days because change takes time and change isn't linear. So, I do have a 30-day program that I run. Right now there's no active program, but it's a passive product available as well. But I run live groups, and but those live groups are spread over time. They're not just 30 days back to back. So what I feel is that really, and what I see is people need that support and accountability to make change long term. So 90 days is kind of the minimum that I want to work one-on-one in order to give my clients the best information that I can. Melatonin, yeah, for sleep, it is recommended. There's other options for sleep as well. So I'll come back and answer that question. I may do a live all on sleep with some of the different recommendations that I'll give clients, but I'll pop some information in there about melatonin for you as well, Ruth. So that's a 90-day Energize VIP program, and then you have unlimited access through Voxer, which is a one-on-one, like a walkie-talkie app. So you're going to eat, you're at the grocery store, you have a question, you pop on there, ask me the question, and then I'm going to give you the answer within a certain time frame. So the support that you get in that program is really a daily support through email, through Voxer, and then we meet once a week on Zoom so we can see how things are going. All right, so that's the Energize Mama VIP. I'll drop the link in the description above when I'm done. And then if you want, you can apply for that. There's a few spots open. It's a great time to get started because we'll start now and then we'll finish just after Christmas or just in the new year. So we'll set you up to have that success and have that continued success into 2019. All right, guys, so that's it for those top 5 tips, or actually top 10 tips to boost your immunity. If you have any other questions, pop them below. Thanks so much for joining, Ruth. And I'll follow up on your question about the melatonin. I just want to double check in my evidence-based database if there's any changes to the recommendations around that based on the current research. All right, guys, so have a great day. Have a great Thanksgiving if you're in Canada. And if you're not in Canada, I hope it's beautiful where you are. It's like 24 degrees Celsius where I am, so it's a lovely day. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.